Adam Hughes, 4 Martin Law, 5 Johnny Ray, 6 Garen Casey, 7 Garl Briggs, 8 Francis Stevenson, 9 Paul Hicks, 10 is Gary Lord, 11 is Ian Hughes, 12 is Andy Fisher, 13 Matt Fuller. The subs for Wakefield today at number 14 is Roger Kenworthy, 15 is Sonny Wackaroo, 16 Wayne McDonald and 17 is Graham Lord. And as Featherstone Rovers make their way into this pitch for tonight's game, led out of, as always, by Sean Irwin. And their side today is at number 1 Steve Collins, at 2 Craig Horn, 3 is Sean Irwin, 4 Davy Kimmel, 5 is Carl Pratt, 6 is Paddy Hanley, 7 Ty Fallons, 8 is Chico Jackson, 9 Richard Chapman, 10 Stuart Dickens, 11 is Asa Ramona, 12 Neil Lowe, 13 is Gary Price. For subs then for Rovers tonight, at number 14 is Jamie Coventry, 15 Danny Evans, 16 is Mickey Clarkson, and number 17 is Danny Baker. And for tonight's game we have a Super League referee in charge, Mr Stuart Cummins. So then Rovers will be looking for a repeat performance. Around about a month ago when they really did put Wakefield to the ground that day. They beat them by 21 points to 0, but I'm sure Wakefield will thrash winners at the weekend. Really keen to make amends tonight. Rovers couple of injuries with Carl all out and also inspirational tackler Richard Slater, so should be an interesting game tonight. So then we're just about ready to get this game underway then. Featherstone Rovers will be playing down the slope in the first half. So then we're just about away then. Richard Chapman then to get it away for Rovers. Deep kick and Wakefield take that ball, no problem, they'll have a first. They'll be on the attack first in this game. It's Paul Hicks going for, sorry, Johnny Ray coming from acting half back, he's brought down low. Paul Hicks looking for his big men, here it comes with Francis Stevenson, but he's brought down. Paul Hicks again then, Paul Hicks looking for another big man, this time it's Andy Fisher. It's good run there by Andy Fisher. Ex-Rovers man. So this was Gary Lord looking to get that ball away, but he's brought down. So Paul Hicks and Garen Case on that last tackle. That's just watched by Ty Fallons. That ball no problem there for Ty, just lets it roll over that goal line. So Rovers will have their first touch of the ball. It's Richard Chapman to give it to Chico Jackson. Chico Jackson, good ball there to Richard Chapman, so Rovers keeping ball alive there early in that tackle cam. On the first tackle, good play by Chico Jackson, well backed up by Richard Chapman, so this is Neil Lowe, his first touch. Good drive by Neil Lowe. Richard Chapman then. Just time to Sean Irwin, back inside to Stuart Dickens, just a little bit compact that time, but good drive nevertheless by Stuart Dickens. Richard Chapman then to Ty Fallons. Looking for others, Ty Fallons sees a gap. That tackle looked a little bit high there by Andy Fisher and Stuart keep it. Stuart Cummins up straight away. So this should be an early penalty opportunity for Richard Chapman to put Rovers in the lead. Chapman with a good opportunity to put Rovers in the lead. Quite rightly so, Richard Chapman takes his time. Important that Rovers get off to a good start tonight. Strikes it well, but just pulls it to that right hand side, so the score remains Featherstone Rovers 0, Wakefield Trinity 0. And so it'll be a tap on Wakefield's own 25, drop out on Wakefield's own 25-yard line. So David Kimmel picks ball up, he'll charge it back with David Kimmel. Wakefield moving up quickly. Ty Fallon's looking to spread this ball out to Steve Collins. Steve Collins look for a gap. Steve Collins halfway through, looking for support, and that's going to be a penalty. Flopping there by Wakefield Trinity, so another penalty opportunity. Ty Fallons will just dispatch the touch, just slice off his boot that time, but nevertheless it's another 6 to go. Rovers just inside Wakefield's halfway line. It's Chico Jackson to run it in. Richard Chapman then to Gary Price switching it to Steve Collins. Steve Collins, that looks a little bit of an hard tackle again, but after this time says play on. Ty Fallon's then to Stuart Dickens on the charge. Richard Chapman then to Ty Fallons looking for runners. To Sean Irwin looking to get that ball away, but this time surrounded by tacklers. Richard Chapman throws on me. Richard Chapman for acting half back. Richard Chapman almost through there. That's good running by Richard Chapman. Catching Wakefield by surprise. This is last tackle then, Ty Fallons. That little chip through, Ty Fallons. But that's good sweeping there by Wakefield Trinity. Just can't see who it is. And this is Carl Reeker to come away. Craig Reeker from acting half back, but Rovers moving up quickly. Good tackling by Rovers that time. So Wakefield Trinity looking to drive away out of trouble here. This time it's Carl Briggs coming up the middle, but good tackling by Rovers once again. So this time Matt Fuller on the charge. He's brought down, so this is going to be last tackle then. And it's with Garen Casey. Downfield, that's another poor kick though by Garen Casey. Just bounces off that 25-yard line, so it'll be a tap to Featherstone Rovers once again on their own 25. So Richard Chapman then to Chico Jackson. Richard Chapman again then. Gives it to Stuart Dickens. Stuart Dickens steps off his right foot, but he's brought down. Once again, they're holding down Garen Casey. Shakes his head, but really Garen Casey, no doubt about it in my mind, they were holding Stuart Dickens down, so Ty Fallon says we'll have another penalty. Well, I'll dispatch this into touch. That's a much better kick by Ty Fallon. That takes Rovers deep inside Wakefield's 25-yard line. And it'll be Chico Jackson to run it in, so this is going to be a real attack by Featherstone Rovers. What can we do? It's Richard Chapman to Ty Fallons. Give it to Stuart Dickens. Stuart Dickens watched well there by Wakefield. We have Andy Fisher. Richard Chapman then to Ty Fallons. Ty Fallons looking for runners. Sean Irwin, bit of a collision there, but Sean Irwin did well to manage to keep onto that ball, but it looks like he's took a bit of a bad knock there. Might be winded there, Sean Irwin. So Richard Chapman giving it to Asaramoni. Richard Chapman again then. Good ball to Ty Fallons. That long ball out to Paddy Hanley looking for runners. Misses one man out to David Kimmel. David Kimmel going foot line. Good ball there to Carl Pratt. Nice spot corner. But touch there. Gives decision that Carl Pratt dropped that ball over that line. So that'll be a tap on Wakefield to his 25-yard line. But that was good handling there by Ty Fallons and Paddy Hanley. But now Featherstone Rovers must defend. And this time Rovers are penalised for ripping that ball away, so this is going to be Wakefield to its first penalty of the game. And a chance then to clear the lines, and Sean Irwin coming off, I think. think just a little bit dazed, might have, as I say, been winded, but it'll be Jamie Coventry come onto pitch for Sean Irwin. That's a blow for Featherstone Rovers, but Wakefield then on the attack. And it's Matt Fuller looking for us. Matt Fuller throws it on, he goes himself. That's good tackling by Rovers though. And so this is Andy Fisher on the charge. Andy Fisher sees the gap. Andy Fisher can still go in. Chico Jackson just clearing to his heel, but it's Paul. It's going from acting half back. Ball spins out. That should be play on. So that's a let off for Featherstone Rovers because Wakefield were looking dangerous. And it's going to be Steve Collins going away from acting half back. Davy Kimmel this time. Davy Kimmel looks for a gap. Davy Kimmel spots a gap. Comes up middle at pitch. Offloads it to Richard Chapman. Good play by Davy Kimmel. Richard Chapman going up middle at pitch. Richard Chapman almost at halfway line. That's good play by Featherstone Rovers. So Steve Collins then to Ty Fallons. Ty Fallons to Asaramona. Asaramona for over gap. Asaramona just can't stay on his feet. It's going to be another penalty there. Wakefield flopping again, holding down. Stuart Cummins very strict at this, laying on the floor. And Richard Chapman going to have another pot at goal here, so the game just lining up at the moment. Scores 0-0, but Richard Chapman has an excellent chance here to give Featherstone Rovers the lead. So Richard Chapman with his second opportunity. Really, this one a little bit more difficult than last one because I think it was more central. This just at right at post. So Chappie just steadied himself again. This time he's just sliced it that time to the left hand side at post, so Richard Chapman won't be happy with that. The score remains Featherstone Rovers 0, Wakefield Trinity 0. So he's dropped out on the 25-yard line. Ty Fallon's letting that bounce, finally picks it under control, gives it to Neil Lowe, but Wakefield up very quickly. That's good tackling by Wakefield Trinity. Davy Kimmel getting away from acting half back. Davy Kimmel stepping. Davy Kimmel looking for a gap. So Richard Chapman giving it to Ty Fallons. Ty Fallons to Asaramona. Asaramona looking to take him on. Asaramona looking to get ball away. That's bad play there by Featherstone Rovers, really. Gary Price and Jamie Coventry looking to leave it to each other, and that's holding down by Featherstone Rovers. So that's this is going to be an opportunity for Wakefield Trinity now to take the lead, so bad play that by Featherstone Rovers. Don't think we're out on there Asaramona's pass. I just think that Gary Price and Jamie Coventry must have been half asleep there. And this is giving the opportunity for Wakefield Trinity to take the lead. So Garen Casey then for Wakefield Trinity to put them in the lead. It's for post, comes back out. That's going to be play on, that's going to be all on. What will the referee give here? I think is he going to give a first defence or no? It's a knock on then, so Featherstone Rovers ball. Was an advantage there to Wakefield Trinity, but I think it was John Bostock on that right side of that pitch, just couldn't take it. So that's a let off for Featherstone Rovers, and it's going to be Gary Price from this scrum. So Steve Collins looking for gaps. Steve Collins coming up middle of pitch. Richard Chapman this time. Richard Chapman to Asher Amona. Asher Amona straightens up. Asher Amona. Richard Chapman then. Richard Chapman looking for a gap. Richard Chapman coming up middle of pitch again. Halfway through. So it's Ty Fallons this time. Ty Fallons looks for a gap, but this time is well watched by Gary Lord that time. Gary Price into Richard Chapman. Richard Chapman, this is last tackle, just jewels that over to John Bostock's winner, and he takes it. But that's good tackling by Carl Pratt, up quickly. Excellent tackling by the Rovers wingman. That's good tackling by Featherstone Rovers. Wakefield keep it going there to Adam Hughes. That's excellent tackling by Rovers. In quickly, Neil Lowe there. So Featherstone Rovers moving up quickly. Andy Fisher on the charge this time. He's well tackled though by Neil Lowe. Neil Lowe looking to prove a point. But this time Neil Lowe there just... The referee saying that Neil Lowe just had a second go there at Andy Fisher, so that's a penalty to Wakefield. So all that hard tackling there's been undone. Neil Lowe there looked hard done by. But that's an excellent kick into touch. This takes Wakefield back on the attack. Just short of that 25-yard line. Paulix with a tap. The referee just stopping play. Just trying to get that other ball off pitch, and now we're away again. This time it'll be John Bostock on the drive. John Bostock scored an hat-trick in that massacre against Widnes on Sunday. So this time throws it on me. Garen Casey to Andy Fisher. Andy Fisher sees a gap, but Gary Price was an excellent sliding over there. Superb tackle by Gary Price. So Garen Casey, give it to Carl Briggs. Carl Briggs looking for runners. That's a superb tackle by Stuart Dickens on the opposite number, Gary Lord. But Rovers look stretched over there. Long ball by Carl Briggs to John Bostock. John Bostock going foot line. Brooks ball anyway. Rovers pounce on it. Good defence by Featherstone Rovers. It was Richard Chapman who pounced on it. Rovers looking to drive away, get away from trouble. Oh, it's Craig on. Chico Jackson there, looking to get ball away, but wisely that time holding on. Richard Chapman back to Ty Fallons, and Ty Fallons just kicks that downfield, looks to get Rovers away from the own 25-yard line. This ball bouncing about, finally picked up by Craig Reeker, and Craig Reeker just takes the tackle there. And so this is John Ray off his wing, John Ray to run it in. So that's a good ball out here to Adam Hughes. Adam Hughes looking to get round Craig Horn, but Craig Horn sticks to him like glue. And so this is Matt Fuller, he gives it to Carl Briggs. Carl Briggs then offloads it. Well backed up by Carl Briggs though. Carl Briggs again. Frozen goes himself, but that's good tackling by Paddy Hanley. And Davy Kimmel, excellent tackling getting over there. Garen Casey looking for a bit of inspiration. Swivels round, still going Garen Casey. Rovers under pressure here. Andy Fisher from Acton half back, but just slipped down there, so this is last tackle. It's Carl Briggs, that crossfield kick, and that looks like it's... Well, it's all on, it's... Comes back. Still playing it, comes to Ian Hughes who has to take the tackle. And that's going to be the handover. So Steve Collins then. Richard Chapman then to Jamie Coventry. Richard Chapman then giving it to Gary Price. Gary Price runs it in. Richard Chapman again then to Stuart Dickens. Stuart Dickens runs straight and hard, looks to get ball away. Just hangs on to that ball there, Stuart Dickens. Ty Fallons then. Ty Fallons, good reverse pass there to Gary Price. To Steve Collins. Steve Collins looking for support. Excellent play by Featherstone Rovers up that middle of pitch. So Richard Chapman from Acton half back to Asher Amona. Asher Amona just couldn't take that ball here, so that just rolls into touch, so it'll be the handover. But Featherstone Rovers are looking dangerous in that middle of pitch. End-to-end stuff is this, but both sides here you feel just throwing chances away. Both teams had quite a few chances to take the lead, but none of them took so far. It's Andy Fisher for Wakefield Trinity. So it's Borlix, he looks for runners, and it comes in the shape of Martin Law, but Martin Law's well tackled. Borlix then to Garen Casey, good ball there to Adam Hughes there, looking to get through. That's good tackling by Rovers. This is Matt Fuller this time, Matt Fuller to run straight. Garen Casey, this is last tackle, will put a big iron up and under this time. Ty Fallon's underneath for that one. That's going to be a penalty to Featherstone Rovers. Stuart come in and say that Wakefield Trinity were miles offside there. No way were they behind the kicker, so... In fact, it's just correcting me there. The referee saying that Ty Fallon's took in the air there as he caught that ball, so... That's the reason the penalty's given for, and that penalty by Ty Fallon takes play just short this halfway line. It's Richard Chapman to Ty Fallon's, to David Kimmel to Paddy Hanley to Steve Collins though just can't get away that time. And so it's Jamie Coventry from acting half back. Richard Chapman to Asser Amona runs Arnon straight. Richard Chapman then to Ty Fallons, to Stuart Dickens looking for a gap. Stuart Dickens, unlucky there by Stuart Dickens, tried to get that ball back but just ricocheted off Wakefield man, and Wakefield back in possession. This is Craig Reeker looking for runners. Referee here pulling Richard Chapman up for an eye tackle. High tackle there by Richard Chapman on Gary Lord. That'll be a penalty to Wakefield Trinity. So that ball by Garen Casey just dispatched into touch. Another good kick by Garen Casey. Wakefield Trinity on the attack again then. And it's going to be Gary Lord to run it in. Gary Lord runs towards that 25-yard line. He's brought down low. So it's Porlix to Ian Hughes. Ian Hughes runs towards them posts. He's brought down this time though. Porlix again. Porlix giving it to substitute Sonny Wackaroo. Didn't see who Sonny Wackaroo come on pitch for. So it's Carl Briggs. He gives it to Garen Casey. Garen Casey looking for football back inside, but that's superb tackling on Matt Fuller. Garen Casey then he gives it to Gary Lord this time, but he's brought down. This is last tackle then. Matt Fuller just kicks that ball anywhere, and Wakefield Trinity still have this ball, long ball out to Johnny Ray, that little kick through, but that's no problem for Asser Amona. And Asser Amona, that's good play by Asser Amona, good covering in defence there. Craig on then off his wing. Craig on looking to offload it. So it's Paddy Hanley to David Kimmel. So Paddy Hanley then to Neil Lowe. Neil Lowe to run it in. Neil ball, that ball looked like it was ripped out. Well, to me that ball looked like it was ripped out, but the referee saying that it went once, and so that's going to be a knock on. So chance for Rovers to relieve the line they wasted. It'll be Carl Briggs to feed this scrum. Goes to Garen Casey. Garen Casey then looks for a gap. Straightens up. That's good tackling though by Steve Collins. Sonny Wackaroo runs hard and straight. So Carl Briggs looks for runners. He gives it to Gary Lord. Gary Lord's well met. So Carl Briggs again, he gives it to Adam Hughes this time. Adam Hughes looks to swivel out tackles, but once again he's well wrapped up. Porlix again then to Carl Briggs. Carl Briggs gives it to Garen Casey. Garen Casey looking for a gap. Garen Casey swivels out, tackles. Garen Casey to the line, and Garen Casey scores a try for Wakefield Trinity. That's the first try of the game, and really, that really is the first time that Featherstone Rovers have missed tackles tonight, and Garen Casey made them pay for it. Trinity take the lead. Wakefield Trinity 4, Featherstone Rovers 0. So Garen Casey looking to convert his own try. Takes his time with Garen Casey. Straight to the post for Garen Casey, so he's the man then for Wakefield Trinity, who's giving them this 6 points to no lead over Featherstone Rovers. Been linked with loads of Super League clubs this week as Garen Casey, but at the moment he remains at Wakefield Trinity, and he's the man who's done all the damage at the moment in this game. And it'll be Garen Casey to get this game underway once again then. Well caught there by Ty Fallon's well. So an unorthodox style, but it took it well, and Wakefield Trinity looking to drive Asanomona back, but Asanomona were going nowhere that time. Steve Collins looking for gap up middle. Richard Chapman then to Chico Jackson, took that ball well. Richard Chapman then back to Ty Fallons. Ty Fallons kicks it downfield. One bounce into Craig Reeker's hands, and Craig Reeker now will look for a gap. But Rovers up quickly. So John Ray to run it in. Paulix, he gives it to John Bostock off his wing. John Bostock, halfway through, John Bostock is finally pinned to the floor. So Paulix coming up middle, but he's well tackled there by Richard Chapman, his opposite number. So that's a good offload there to Ian Hughes looking to get that ball away. Carl Briggs then to Garen Casey, that's a good crossfield kick, and Carl Pratt's underneath this, and Carl Pratt takes it well there. Ty Fallons then to Steve Collins, a low to one man, Steve Collins looking for a gap. That's good running by Steve Collins, gets to the 25-yard line. David Kimmel then to Neil Lowe straightens up. Richard Chapman then to Stuart Dickens looking for getting that ball away. That's good drive by Stuart Dickens. Richard Chapman then to Ty Fallons. It's a good kick by Ty Fallons. Bounces into touch. That's a relieving kick by Ty Fallons. Meanwhile, Mickey Clarkson going to come onto this pitch for Neil Lowe. He's done well as Neil Lowe. Just with that one mistake when they knocked on, but apart from that, maybe that missed tackle for that try, but he's done well as Neil Lowe. But Mickey Clarkson's onto pitch now. It's Carl Reeker from that scrum. Andy Fisher. He's had a couple of guns runs as Andy Fisher, but this time he's brought down there by Mickey Clarkson. Does his first tackle at game, and now he's after Martin Law. . So Wakefield Trinity offloaded there to Ian Hughes. Good drive by Ian Hughes, gets to halfway line. Paul Lixon, he gives it to Andy Fisher. Andy Fisher's well wrapped up this time. Last tackle then. This will be Garen Casey. Garen Casey. Another poor kick there by Garen Casey, just goes a little bit too far. Another tap at 25-yard line to Featherstone Rovers. So Wakefield's going to make another substitution. Roger Kenworthy's going to come on. Can't see who it is who's led for pitch. I think it might be Paul Hicks. It is who's left for pitch, but Featherstone Rovers in possession with Chico Jackson. A good drive there. This time it's Gary Price. Two good drives by Featherstone Rovers, that. Richard Chapman to Stuart Dickens. Stuart Dickens runs hard and straight. Richard Chapman then to Ty Fallons. Ty Fallons looking for runners. Time has to go himself. Ty Fallons looking for support. But that time it just fell into Sonny Wackaroo, but that were hard lines there by Ty Fallons. Garen Casey, he feeds Gary Lord. So Andy Fisher this time. Andy Fisher looking to offload it. He gives it to Bostock. He's brought down though. Garen Casey then. Garen Casey looking for runners. He gives it to Ian Hughes. Ian Hughes though, well wrapped up by Gary Price. Good tackling by Gary Price, that. Garen Casey then giving it to Roger Kenworthy, his first touch-up ball. And he feeds Andy Fisher, but Andy Fisher's brought down. Carl Briggs then to Garen Casey. Garen Casey give it to Roger Kenworthy. Slip ball there. Like a knock on, a referee gives it there, so that'll be the handover. I think that was last tackle. It is the handover, so Paddy Hanley gets that ball. Look like offside, referee says play on. Gary Price to Jamie Coventry, steps back inside. Jamie Coventry though gets back up. So Steve Collins coming away. Chapman this time, throws only gives it to Asanomona. Asanomona will run straight. It's over that halfway line, still going Asanomona. Richard Chapman then, Richard Chapman to Ty Fallons, difficult ball, picks it up well, back to Ty Fallons. That's going to be a knock on, is that? That was unlucky. I think Ty Fallons has took a knock in that play there. Back on his feet now, but it's Sonny Wackaroo on the charge. Sonny Wackaroo halfway through, looking to get that ball away. So this time it's Andy Fisher to run it in. Andy Fisher running straight, gets that 25-yard line. He's brought down. So Carl Briggs then he gives it to Garen Casey. Garen Casey to Roger Kenworthy. Roger Kenworthy, folks. Roger Kenworthy. Well, Rovers there just held off Roger Kenworthy. And Roger Kenworthy made him pay the price there. Beautiful darting run there by the substitute Roger Kenworthy. And Rovers really didn't lay a finger on him there. That was bad tackling by Featherstone Rovers, and that increases the lead then. Wakefield Trinity 10, Featherstone Rovers 0. So the Garen Case then to look to put Wakefield even further in the lead. Casey taking his time again then. Struck it well, excellent kick by Garen Casey, so Wakefield then leading by 12 points to 0 already. It's going to be an hard task this for Featherstone Rovers. You certainly don't want to be 12-0 down to the league leaders, and it's going to be a big task going for Featherstone Rovers. So game's underway again. Typhoons takes that, feeds Asaramona. It's Richard Chapman and he gives it to Craig on. Well, I'd like 2-minute tackle, but referee says play on. So Wakefield Trinity back on attack, support Rovers, don't let them get over again, and it's going to be Matt Fuller to Roger Kenworthy. Roger Kenworthy again looking for a gap this time. Mickey Clarkson won't let him escape this time, and it's Wakefield Trinity on the attack lane. Carl Briggs, he feeds Sonny Wackaroo, and Sonny Wackaroo drives it in. Roger Kenworthy again, he offloads it to Garen Casey. Garen Casey looking for runners, gives it to number 10, Gary Lord. Gary Lord drives it in. This is going to be last tackle then. Can Rovers keep him out? Garen Casey. Crossfield kick there. And Martin Law just couldn't take that ball, or that were going to be 16-0 there. Excellent crossfield kick by Garen Casey. It caught Rovers napping. But luckily for Rovers, it didn't come off, and they're still just 12-0 behind. It's Chico Jackson to run it in. Gary Price and Gary Price to run up middle. Richard Chapman picks that ball up, gives it to Stuart Dickens. Stuart Dickens away. Stuart's good running by Stuart Dickens, coming up middle of pitch. Excellent drive by that young prop forward. Ty Fallon's then to Paddy Hanley. Paddy Hanley looking for runners. Paddy Hanley back inside to Steve Collins. Steve Collins to Davy Kimmel. Davy Kimmel to Paddy Hanley. Paddy Hanley goes himself. That's good play by Featherstone Rovers. So Davy Kimmel going to line himself, gives it to Mickey Clarkson. Mickey Clarkson keeps hold of ball. This is going to be last tackle then. Paddy Hanley then to Ty Fallons. Long ball to Asaramona. Asaramona to Craig Orme. Craig Orme steps back inside. Craig Orme just gets tackled with ball. Good tackling by Wakefield Trinity that. So that'll be the handover. But that's better by Featherstone Rovers, keeping ball alive there. That was good rugby league with that. So Wakefield Trinity then looks to just calm it down, just drive it away from the own line. It'll be Andy Fisher to run it in. Into the forward pass there, but referee says play on. Roger Kenworthy, sorry, it's Carl Briggs coming away this time from acting half back. Roger Kenworthy then looks for a gap himself, goes himself this time, passes it though to, I think it was McDonald that time. Carl Briggs, that little kick over the top. That one goes out on the full, so that's a mistake by Wakefield Trinity. Ty Fallon's enter. Gary Price. Gary Price will straighten up. So Jamie Coventry this time. Jamie Coventry max half back. Richard Chapman then gives it to Asaramona. Asaramona will straighten up here. Asaramona gets to that 25-yard line. That's a good strong run by Asaramona. Still going in as Asa. Richard Chapman then to Ty Fallons. Ty Fallons. Crossfield kick there. Bodstock under trouble. Can Cal Pratt keep it in? That's going to be backwards. That should be play on. That's play on, is that? Well, what's he giving it? I think he's gives offside there, has he? I think he's saying that Carl Pratt were offside. Well, he'll give that late if that's what it was for. And it's Matt Fuller coming away then, and that's going to be a penalty. I think Richard Chapman flopping that time. I think Rovers, they're just frustrated with first decision there. So from where I think we should be attacking on Wakefield's line, we've given away 2 penalties, and Wakefield Trinity on the attack again. So Roger Kenworthy looking for a gap, gives it to, I think it's Gary Lord. Gary Lord straightens up. Roger Kenworthy again, goes straight, looks for another gap, but this time Rovers close it quickly, but Wakefield Trinity on the attack. Rovers really can't afford to concede again before half time. It's Garen Casey out wide, it's John Bostock. And John Bostock's in for a try. I was just saying that Featherstone Rovers couldn't afford to concede again, and really Wakefield Trinity just passed that ball out, and the Featherstone Rovers defence didn't seem to slide whatsoever. It left Carl Pratt with 2 men to contend with, and it just comes to John Bostock, and he's scored a hat-trick on Sunday. He's scored another one today. Featherstone Rovers 0, Wakefield Trinity 16. Bargersfield Featherstone Rovers a little bit unlucky there, because certainly from where I were, Carl Pratt didn't look offside. And two penalties. Wakefield Trinity should increase the lead. So Garen Casey this time from a touchline. It's another superb kick is that by Garen Casey. So Featherstone Rovers 0, Wakefield Trinity 18. That's half time then, so Featherstone Rovers with a big uphill struggle then, and if they're going to turn this game around, they're losing 18-0 at half time. Wakefield Trinity try scored as well. Just that one for John Bostock before half time. Roger Kenworthy went in, and Garen Casey also scored a try, and both 3 goals also by the Australian Garen Casey. Giving us the half time score. Featherstone Rovers 0, Wakefield Trinity 18. So then both sets of teams back on this pitch for the second half. Half time score once again then, Featherstone Rovers really trailing at the moment by 18 points to 0, but really, you know, on reflection, you look back at that first half, and I really don't think there's 18 points between these sides. I think Featherstone Rovers have been unlucky. But they're 18-0 down, and let's see what they can do in this second half. It's going to be a stiff task here. It's going to be Garen Casey to get this game underway. Ty Fallon speeds David Kibble. And so this is Steve Collins then. Steve Collins to run it in. Richard Chapman then. Richard Chapman looking for runners. Gives it to Stuart Dickens. Chapman then back to Ty Fallons. Ty Fallons will drill this ball downfield. One bounce touch. Good kick that by Ty Fallons. Does well there to find touch. Really, Ty Fallons to me just don't look fit to me. Jogging up there, you can tell he's jogging with a bit of a limp. Shot ball's in, it's out to Wakefield. So John Bostock drives up middle. So Carl Briggs then. Carl Briggs has to run it himself. He looks to offload it. Picked up well by Roger Kenworthy. Roger Kenworthy offloads it to Martin Fuller. Then it comes to John Bostock. So Wakefield, it's Garen Casey. Good switch ball to... That's going to be crossing. Rightly so, that's crossing. Wakefield getting a little bit of mess here. Looking for overs that. Featherstone Rovers will have this penalty, which Ty Fallons will dispatch it to touch. So Featherstone Rovers really looking to launch this attack then. They really do need it. Nearly scored of Featherstone Rovers. And it's Chico Jackson to run it in. Good run by Chico Jackson. Well, Ty Fallons just couldn't take that ball, and Roger Kenworthy, I don't think we're out on whip past there, that was. But Wakefield turn it on the attack, then it's Sonny Wackero, as I said. Rovers have got to get back in this game, and this is Martin Law to run it in. It's Carl Briggs, and he gives it to Roger Kenworthy, then it comes to Garen Casey. Good ball to Adam Hughes. That's going to be a forward pass there. Garen Casey to Adam Hughes, one forward, so we're left for Featherstone Rovers. So ball's out Featherstone Rovers, it's Gary Price in that stand-up position. Ty Fallons then to Gary Price. Paddy Hanley, and that's a bad mistake by Featherstone Rovers. Really, they can't afford to do that. They're trailing by 18 points to 0, and so this is Matt Fuller to run it in. Andy Fisher, no, it's Matt Fuller looking to offload it, just can't offload it that time. So Carl Briggs, he gives it to Roger Kenworthy switches it to Ian Hughes. Ian Hughes is brought down. So Wayne McDonald, big tall figure of Wayne McDonald, he's brought to the floor. So Garen Casey steps inside. Mickey Clarkson sticking to him like glue then. The Rovers bring him down a little bit last tackle. Drop goal there by Paul Hicks. That one just slices wide though, so that'll be a tap from a 25-yard line, but good thinking there by Paul Hicks. Sorry, by Carl Briggs there. Fortunately for Wakefield, just didn't come off, but fortunately for Rovers, it gives them a tap and it gives them a chance to drive away from beyond 25-yard line with Asaramoni. Richard Chapman then. Chico Jackson. Smith penalty. Wakefield not letting Chico Jackson to his feet, so it's a penalty for holding down, and Ty Fallons will just dispatch this to touch. Chico Jackson on the charge then. Richard Chapman then to Stuart Dickens. Stuart Dickens, good spot line. Good drive by Stuart Dickens, just short. Richard Chapman then to Ty Fallons. Ty Fallons to Gary Price, but Gary Price is well surrounded. Ball comes out. Well hold on there by Craig Horn. Gary Price then gives it to Ty Fallons. Ty Fallons. Well, there's nobody wanting it for Featherstone Rovers at the moment. Richard Chapman then goes for that line, switches it to Gary Price. Gary Price gets it away to Ty Fallons. Ty Fallons picked up by Jamie Coventry. Jamie Coventry offloads it to Ty Fallons. Well, referee spotted a knock on there. Well, to me, nobody for Featherstone Rovers wanted that ball here. They seem to be at 6s and 7s. But some good news here for Featherstone Rovers is that skipper Sean Irwin looks like he's ready to return from that pitch. He took a bad knock at first half. That's good news for Featherstone Rovers. But Wakefield trying to have the ball from that scrum. This will be Andy Fisher to run it in. That's good tackling though by Mickey Clarkson and Davy Kimmel. This will be Matt Fuller this time to run it in. Matt Fuller looks to hand Davy Kimmel off, but it's brought down well by Mickey Clarkson. So this is Martin Law this time. He straightens up. Wakefield get over that halfway line. Garen Casey then. Garen Casey, that kick over top, looking to catch Steve Collins out of position. Steve Collins does well there, does Steve Collins. Good full-back play there by Steve Collins for Featherstone Rovers. This is Jamie Coventry then from acting half-back. Rovers fans looking to lift aside with Asaramona. Drives up middle. That's going to be a knock-on though, Asaramona there, just a little knock-on, so it's another bad mistake by Featherstone Rovers. They really can't afford to make these mistakes, and I think that'll be Asaramona's last play just for the moment, because here's Sean Irwin who was going to return for Asaramona. He's had a little knock-on as Asaramona there, but apart from that I think he's been one of the better players on the pitch for Featherstone Rovers. Ball's out to Wakefield with John Ray comes off his wing. So Wakefield trying it, it's Matt Fuller. Matt Fuller, good ball there to Martin Law, what a gap there. The referee there judges that what a forward pass there, so another let off for Featherstone Rovers, but Chico Jackson coming off pitch, and I don't think Chico Jackson's very happy about that. Throws ball to the side in disgust. I don't think he's very happy about that decision to bring off Chico Jackson. Sean Irwin in position. Davy Kimmel, and Davy Kimmel looking for a gap. To Steve Collins. Steve Collins though is well tackled. Richard Chapman then from acting half back. Richard Chapman will take him forward. He gets over that halfway line. Ty Fallon's enters. This is Danny Baker who's come on pitch for Chico Jackson. Richard Chapman then to Sean Irwin to Gary Price. Gary Price spins out tackles. Gary Price still going. That's better by Featherstone Rovers. Schultz's last tackle just short of this line. Ty Fallon's then to Paddy Hanley. Paddy Hanley looking for runners. Gives it to Mickey Clarkson. Go up ball to Carl Pratt. And Carl Pratt just walks in. And Featherstone Rovers are on the board at last. Well, the linesman's give a forward pass. So Featherstone Rovers out on the board. Well, Carl Pratt this season seems to get more tries disallowed, does Carl Pratt. Featherstone Rovers really nothing going for them tonight, really. That's a penalty for Featherstone Rovers there. John Bostock just coming through there, didn't like the tackle, but we're no need for that. I saw that tackle, we're not wrong with that tackle, and I'm sure the Wakefield staff will be very annoyed there with John Bostock. He's given a stupid penalty to Featherstone Rovers. It's Ty Fallons to Davy Kimmel to Paddy Hanley to Steve Collins, but Steve Collins there just a little bit crowded out there. Danny Baker then, Danny Baker to drive it in. Could do a big game here by Danny Baker. Ty Fallons then, Ty Fallons to Sean Irwin. Sean Irwin, that tackle looked a little bit high tackle, but it's play on. Ty Fallons then, Ty Fallons throws on. Rovers once again have to come back. And it's Danny Baker to drive it in. Danny Baker goes for that line. It's last tackle then, Richard Chapman. Richard Chapman, long ball out to Craig Horn. That ball really, never seems to come away from that corner there, Featherstone Rovers. That was really a poor attack there by Featherstone Rovers. So this is Andy Fisher. Andy Fisher hands men off. Andy Fisher gives it to John Bostock. Brilliant tackle though by Carl Pratt. Super tackle there by Carl Pratt. Really, John Bostock there just shoved Shove Carl Pratt down there for no reason at all. For some reason, somebody's got John Bostock's back up. In my opinion there, it's because Carl Pratt just tackled him into touch, and he don't like getting tackled into touch from John Bostock. Good work by Carl Pratt though. Jamie Coventry then gives it to Steve Collins. Steve Collins gets away. Steve Collins on a fire. Steve Collins is going to score. You can't disallow that one, referee. Steve Collins there just shrugged one man off. It was good work by Jamie Coventry. But Steve Collins then just shrugged one man off. And it went flying away from Wakefield Trinity men. Well, no stopping him, so that's a boost for Featherstone Rovers. Featherstone Rovers 4, Wakefield Trinity 18.
Steve Collins.
A brilliant play that there by Rovers fullback. Richard Chapman really. This is kickable. Garen Case is kicked. All but one of his goals so far. And really needs to bag this over, does Chappie. Takes his time. Good kick by Richard Chapman, so Featherstone Rovers then trail this game by 6 points to 18, but that was better by Featherstone Rovers. It's Richard Chapman to get this game underway. Low kick by Richard Chapman, that's well picked up though by Wakefield. This is John Ray to run it in. This is Wayne McDonald then to run straight and hard. Good run in there by Wayne McDonald, really. Finally brings him down. Garen Case then gives it to Roger Kenworthy. Roger Kenworthy spots a gap. Roger Kenworthy getting away. Offloads it there to. Ball comes out. It's going to be a try for Wakey. Well, Martin Law went for that line. Looked like he should have passed, but Wakefield Trinity on attack. Can Rovers keep him out? But really need to here. Matt Fuller then throws it on, he straightens up. Roger Kenworthy then. Good offload to Wayne McDonald again. Just tackled short, and that's going to be a handover, so that's good tackling by Featherstone Rovers. And Jamie Coventry just dragged back there by Wayne McDonald. Richard Chapman then throws on me. Richard Chapman tries to bring Rovers forward. That's good play by Richard Chapman. Ty Fallons then, Ty Fallons has to go himself. Richard Chapman then to Gary Price. Gary Price looks to drive it. Gary Price looks to offload it. Picked up well by Stuart Dickens. Stuart Dickens to Mickey Clarkson. To Paddy Hanley. Paddy Hanley on a run. Paddy Hanley to Carl Pratt. Carl Pratt going. Carl Pratt to Davy Kimmel. Brilliant play by Featherstone Rovers. This is last tackle then. It's going to be Mickey Clarkson. Mickey Clarkson throws it over. Mickey Clarkson, why did he stop and check back inside? That's going to be the handover, but that's good play by Featherstone Rovers, and this game really hotting up at the moment. From one side of pitch to other. Martin Fuller then. That's much better by Featherstone Rovers, is that? Wakefield Trinity looking to respond here. Garen Casey then with his kick downfield. Picked up by Steve Collins. Steve Collins will turn and look for a gap. Looks to duck underneath him, but that's good tackling by Wakefield Trinity. So Sean Irwin will run straight. Sean Irwin still going. Sean Irwin still going to Craig on. Craig on to Jamie Coventry. Jamie Coventry stepping back inside. That's good play once again by Featherstone Rovers. And Craig on a gallop. Craig on looking for support back inside to Richard Chapman. Richard Chapman still going. Richard Chapman jigs back inside to Ty Fallons. Ty Fallons, brilliant play again by Rovers. Richard Chapman then, going himself, Richard Chapman. Well, that ball just spins out there. I think Richard Chapman knows that he's made a mistake there. Once again though, this game really getting up now. He really went into a good tackle by Mickey Clarkson and Andy Fisher. This is a good drive by Matt Fuller. This is that's going to be a knock-on by Sonny Wackero, so that's another mistake by Wakefield Trinity. You can hear the Featherstone Rovers crowd responding now to this effort what Rovers are putting in. But look a little bit more hungry at the moment at Featherstone Rovers. So Gary Price again in that stand-up position. He'll straighten up, will Gary Price. Almost through there, Gary. Ty Fallons then to Jamie Coventry. Looking for a gap, Jamie Coventry. Done well as Jamie Coventry since he's come on. Richard Chapman then to Sean Irwin. Sean Irwin will run hard and straight. Richard Chapman then to Stuart Dickens. Stuart Dickens will have to take the tackle. Nobody with him that time. Richard Chapman then to Ty Fallons. Ty Fallons, that little kick through. That's good work by Wakefield. Get him back there. Good idea though by Ty Fallons. This is John Bostock on his own line. That's good tackling by Rovers. Wakefield Trinity struggling to make some yards here. That's better by Featherstone Rovers. So this is going to be the last tackle then. A big off downfield and Richard Chapman's recovering full-back. He'll take his time and run it back with Richard Chapman. So David Kimmel looked to get away, but Matt Fuller looked offside there, but referee says it's play on. Richard Chapman then to Danny Baker. Danny Baker runs it in hard. So Sean Irwin this time to run it in. So Gary Price then, Gary Price. Straightens up as Gary Price. Richard Chapman then to Ty Fallons, Ty Fallons. Really, that's a mistake, is that? It's Johnny Ray on a run looking to kick Craig on. Brilliant tackle by Craig on. But Wakefield Trinity on the line, and is it going to be a try? He's in touch there. Good work there by Featherstone Rovers. But the credit must go there to Craig on. He got back, he sprinted back. I thought that John Ray had gone round him, but Craig on did a marvellous job there to get back. Don't forget that Craig on's an half back. He did a superb job there to get back. So it's Jamie Coventry from that stand-off position. Good tackling though by Garen Casey. And Danny Baker to run it in. Richard Chapman then to Stuart Dickens. Stuart Dickens to it. David Kimmel. David Kimmel, but nobody with him. Richard Chapman then. To Mickey Clarkson. Mickey Clarkson's brought down. Richard Chapman then. Going himself. It's good running by Richard Chapman. Ball pops out. But he give it. Kick downfield. It's all on. Carl Pratt after this. Carl Pratt. Well, his foot's in touch. I could see it from here. Well, I don't. What's the referee give here? I think he's given a knock on. Well, if it wasn't a knock on, I could clearly see there that the Wakefield Trinity man had a foot in touch. No doubt about it in my mind there. As we're getting up to play the ball, they rolled over in touch, so justice has been done in my view. It's Paddy Hanley to beat this scrum, picked up by Gary Price. Gary Price just keeps hold of it there. Paddy Hanley to Danny Baker. Danny Baker to run it in. Danny Baker. Richard Chapman then. To Sean Irwin. Sean Irwin looking to go through men. Sean Irwin there! Well, Sean Irwin! How did he get that pass out? Brilliant pass by Sean Irwin. I just can't quite see who's got in. Well, it's Stuart Dickens. It was Davy Kimmel, it was. Brilliant pass by Sean Irwin. He just took the men on in between two Wakefield tacklers. They had the strength to get that ball, pop that ball out and just slip it to Davy Kimmel. And Featherstone Rovers are well and truly back in this game. Featherstone Rovers 10, Wakefield Trinity 18. So Richard Chapman, really important kick is this for Richard Chapman. Similar position to where he kicked the other one. Vitally important that this goes over. Kicked it as Richard Chapman. So Featherstone Rovers 6 points behind now. Featherstone Rovers 12, Wakefield Trinity 18.
Number 9, Richard Chapman from the
And so Featherstone Rovers then, 15 minutes to go, 6 points behind. So Wakefield Trinity back in possession then, it's John Ray. John Ray to run it in. So Rovers don't get carried away and don't give a silly penalty away here. Garen Casey to run it, Wayne McDonald to run it in. Good tackling by Rovers once again there by Chico Jackson on Gary Lord. So Andy Fisher to run it in. So it's Paulix, he gets it away and it's number 15 then, Sonny Wackaroo to run it in. He gets over that halfway line, but that's last tackle. And Garen Casey gone a little bit too far once again by Garen Casey, so it's going to be a tap on the 25-yard line to Featherstone Rovers. This crowd now beginning to get behind Featherstone Rovers now. It's Chico Jackson to run it in. Richard Chapman then gives it to Gary Price. Gary Price runs it in. It's good running by Gary Price. But referee's just spotted a little knock on. Gary Price there annoyed. I think he felt that ball was pinched, so that might be a let off to Wakefield Trinity. So Garen Case then. He feeds Adam Hughes. Garen Casey again, this time feeds Matt Fuller. Matt Fuller runs it hard. So this is Roger Kenworthy, he feeds Gary Lord. Gary Lord gets almost that 25-yard line. Sporlix then gives it to ball goes out wide here, back inside there to, I think it's Andy Fisher. Garen Casey then. Roger Kenworthy looking for a gap. Comes out here to Adam Hughes checks back inside. He's well tackled though, there's Adam Hughes. This is last tackle, can Rovers keep him out? It's a good crossfield kick, Craig Horn's under pressure here. That's brilliant play by Craig Horn there. Well, he's had a good game as Craig Horn. Difficult kick to deal with that. Davy Kimmel then, Davy Kimmel looking to get away from acting half-back. Richard Chapman then, gives it to Stuart Dickens. Looking to get that ball, he just couldn't get it away there, Stuart Dickens. Richard Chapman then to, a good ball back inside. Gary Price on a run. Gary Price hasn't got anybody with him. To Steve Collins. Steve Collins has got a score for Featherstone Rovers. And what an absolutely brilliant try that was. That was absolutely superb rugby league. Chico Jackson, lovely ball to Gary Price. And Gary Price there run about 45 yards. And over on his shoulder, that punch of Steve Collins, and Steve Collins says, I'll do the rest. Featherstone Rovers 8. Featherstone Rovers 16. Wakefield Trinity 18. And listen to this crowd now. Brilliant, brilliant try.
What they're trying to do is get them. They've gone a bit complacent then, aren't they?
So can Richard Chapman then level this game up? Take his time with Richard Chapman, really is important. Can he bag it over? Go on, Richard. Take your time, Richard, just bang it over. Straight between the posts. The game is tied. Featherstone Rovers 18. Wakefield Trinity 18. So what a great comeback that's been from 18-0 down. So can Featherstone Rovers should have a good set of 6 here. Chappie to kick it off. Same kind of kick off. That looked like it bounced off his hand. Is that a knock on? Well, that looked like it might have bounced off Garen Casey's hand. Referee says play on. It's Adam Hughes to run it in. It's Craig Reeker to run it in. He's brought down. Andy Fisher then, Andy Fisher. But Rovers now moving up quickly. It's good tackle there by Jamie Coventry on Gary Lord. Roger Kenworthy to run it in. He's well tackled though there. This is going to be last tackle. Garen Casey, that kick downfield. Steve Collins there just touches that ball. He's got to pick it up and run here. That's good play that by Steve Collins. Excellent play by the Rovers fullback. Sean Irwin to run it in. Sean, that's good running by Sean Irwin. Richard, so it's Craig on throws a couple of dummies. He comes forward himself. Richard Chapman then. Richard Chapman will have a cancer himself. Looking to get it away. They just couldn't get that ball away, couldn't Richard Chapman. Stuart Dickens then to Davy Kimmel. Davy Kimmel coming up middle. Gives it to Danny Baker. Richard Chapman then. Going forward himself, looking for support to Mickey Clarkson. Mickey Clarkson sees the gap. Mickey Clarkson just couldn't get that ball away. This is last tackle then. Richard Chapman. Drop goal by Chapman. Brilliant kick by Richard Chapman there. Well, he just took his time there, did Richard Chapman, and slotted that ball over. Featherstone Rovers in the lead for the first time in this game. Featherstone Rovers 19, Wakefield Trinity 18, with approximately about 6-7 minutes left in this game. Come on Rovers, can you keep it up? Big Eric getting a little bit side of me here, getting involved with the music. Featherstone Rovers in the lead. Richard Chapman to get this game underway again. Garen Casey picks it up, gives it to Andy Fisher. Andy Fisher will look for a gap, but Rovers up quickly again there. Matt Fuller gives it to Wayne McDonald, but this time there's no way through. John Bostock off his wing, John Bostock runs it in. So it's Paul Hicks from acting half-back, he gets over that halfway line. Matt Fuller then gives it to Roger Kenworthy to Garen Casey goes to Adam Hughes, but that's good tackling by Rovers. Sean Irwin, brilliant tackling. Last tackle then. Crossfield kick, Carl Pratt under pressure here. Brilliant play there. Carl Pratt on! Carl Pratt looking to take his man on! Carl Pratt going all the way! Carl Pratt scores an absolutely superb try for Featherstone Rovers. That is absolutely superb play by that youngster. Brilliant play. He took that ball in his own 25-yard line and he had the confidence there to go all the way. He knew he had the place on Craig Reeker. He says, come on Craig, give me the outside and I'll take you on. And that's what Carl Pratt did. Brilliant play that by Carl Pratt. Featherstone Rovers 23, Wakefield Trinity 18. So Richard Chapman really, can he bag this over?
I wanted him to go out.
Richard Chapman. This really would give Rovers probably an excellent chance of clinching victory if Richard Chapman could just bag this over. This would give him a crucial 7-point margin, but have to score twice with Wakefield Trinity. So it's Richard Chapman. Come on Richard, take your time lad. About 3-4 minutes. Richard Chapman then takes his time. Struck it well. It's over by Richard Chapman. That gives them that crucial 7-point margin. Featherstone Rovers 25, Wakefield Trinity 18. And just listen to this crowd now. Brilliant comeback by Featherstone Rovers has this been. $18-0 down to the top of the league at half-time. And now 25-18, and I make it with about 3 or 4 minutes left to play in this game. And what a second half performance this has been. I said in the first half that we wanted 18 points between these teams. And Rovers, really, what a performance now in this second half. Andy Fisher looking to respond for Wakefield Trinity. Johnny Ray to run it in. Oh, Danny Baker in tackling. Johnny Ray again. Garen Casey. Front ball anyway. Comes to Roger Kenworthy. To Matt Fuller. Wakefield Trinity keeping this ball alive, but it's coming to nowhere. Stuart Dickens finally brings that to an end. Looking to offload it, Wakefield Trinity to the halfway line. Roger Kenworthy looking for runners. Back inside to Adam Hughes, that little kick forward. Steve Collins, this is Steve Collins' ball. That's good play by Steve Collins. And what a game has Steve Collins had. It's been absolutely superb at full-back tonight for Featherstone Rovers. Two try scorer, Steve Collins. And Richard Chapman from acting half-back will go himself. Almost through Richard Chapman. But they're like Richard Chapman getting a facial on floor by Gary Lord. And quite rightly so. The referee pulling Gary Lord up for it. So another penalty to Featherstone Rovers, and it's going to be Stuart Dickens to bang this into touch. Chico Jackson to run it in. Chico Jackson away to David Kimmel. David Kimmel going for line. Just out short. Richard Chapman said, I want this ball to Carl Pratt. Carl Pratt's over for Rovers, and that clinches it. Brilliant play by Rovers. Chico Jackson on the charge. He'll floor it to David Kimmel. David Kimmel just held short. Richard Chapman went this way. Just give it to Carl Pratt, says, go on Carl, you go over for your second. Featherstone Rovers 29, Wakefield Trinity 18. Brilliant second half display. It really has been an absolutely tremendous second half performance. And to me, this Featherstone Rovers side today has come of age. They show the kind of spirit what's needed. Brilliant play. Richard Chapman now just trying to put the icing on the cake now. 29 points without a play in this second half against the top of the league is, well, because nobody can argue with that. Nobody whatsoever can argue with that. It'll be Richard Chapman then.
Where can you get better games than this? You can't even get these games. It's
Chappie. Well, this time he misses, but I think we can let him off with that one because the score remains Featherstone Rovers 29, Wakefield Trinity 18. Steve Collins getting the vote for the man of match, and I think he's deserved that. Steve Collins did an absolutely tremendous game at fullback. But what a performance by these Featherstone Rovers side in this second half. And that's a knock-on, and that's going to be a knock-on. It's going to be a try for Rovers, is it? Well, that ball pops out. There's going to be even pressure here on Wakefield Trinity. I think Gary Lord making a mistake, so... Well, you'll give me excitement anyway. You can keep your Super League as far as I'm concerned, because you can't get much better rugby league than this. Danny Baker from the scrum. That's the game over with. And Featherstone Rovers, well, what an absolutely superb second half performance. 18-0 down more at half time. And really they've come up this late second half. And they've had a magnificent attitude. Try scorers were 2 for Steve Collins, 2 for Carl Pratt, including 1 beautiful 80-90 yard run. And then we also another try there for David Kimmel. What an absolutely superb performance this has been. And as the crowd go over to the RJB family stand and over to the supporters, all you have to do is just look at that score. 18-0 down at half time, and Featherstone Rovers finally winning this game by 29 points to 18.